The 1902 Reclamation Act was a visionary piece of legislation that recognized that the future of the United States required the development, management, and use of our natural resources, including our water and our real property. Coming from Wyoming, I am especially cognizant of the importance of the Reclamation Act and the prosperity that it unleashed throughout the interior West, as two of the very first projects permitted and built were in Wyoming. Pathfinder Dam and Reservoir, 1,160,000 acre-feet of water. Buffalo Bill, up near Cody, Wyoming, 646,565 acre-feet. And Pathfinder Dam and Reservoir was over 1 million acre-feet. These are beautiful facilities that together irrigate hundreds of thousands of acres. They provide municipal water, they provide recreation, fisheries, wildlife habitat, hydropower, and they are amenities that are incredibly important to my state and our communities. We have also learned of the incredible benefits that these projects provide in relation to irrigation and what irrigation has done in terms of creating the bounty that we have in the interior Western United States. With flood irrigation, we are able to replenish our aquifers. We have the deep percolation and the runoff. And that's what keeps our rivers alive in the West. We are a snowpack state. And as a result, prior to the construction of our dams and prior to the construction of the built out of these facilities and the irrigation infrastructure, many of our streams and rivers were dry during certain times, if not most of the year. The North Platte River, for example, ran dry pretty much every year, as well as the Platte River. And why is that? Because those rivers and streams were kept alive by snowmelt. The water came through as runoff in the spring with spring floods and then was gone. So what do you think happened to the fisheries when the rivers and streams went dry? They didn't exist. It is through the creation of these types of projects that we have been able to create, and I'll use the word again, the bounty that we have in the interior West. In central Wyoming, south of Casper on the North Platte River, we have what's referred to as the Miracle Mile. Have any of you ever heard of the Miracle Mile? It's the #1 blue ribbon fishery in North America. Do you know why we have the Miracle Mile in Wyoming? Because upstream we have Pathfinder Reservoir, Seminole Reservoir, Alcova Reservoir. We're able to release 500 CFS of water every day, 365 days a year, to keep that fishery alive. And as a result, we have people who come from all over the world to enjoy angling and fishing and hunting in Wyoming. But it was all created because of irrigation. It was all created because of the construction of reservoirs. It was all created, and it has provided us with a standard of living that has created the irrigation infrastructure that we needed to grow crops. We grow alfalfa, corn, sugar beets, beans. We have created tens of thousands of jobs, and we irrigate millions of acres in Colorado, Wyoming, and Nebraska. We are able to produce food for our cattle producers. And as a result, we're able to feed the United States. So when I come to a meeting like this or a hearing like this and we talk about water, I think one of the things that's incredibly important is that you have to understand that for the interior West especially, without irrigation infrastructure, without reservoirs, we don't have fisheries that so many people love about Wyoming and Montana and Colorado and Utah and Idaho. We don't have the production of hydropower that keeps the lights on for millions of people throughout the West. So Mr. Keppen, in your testimony, you touched a bit on some of the shifting priorities in reclamation projects, and the Reclamation Act was for irrigation. It was to create these irrigation projects. How has that shift in focus affected our ability to protect our water resources and all of the amenities I've described?
Well, first, I apologize for not knowing about the Miracle Mile, even though you and I both went to the University of Wyoming. So the question, can you repeat the question again, Congresswoman?
The shift in focus of the Bureau of Reclamation from irrigation to environmental, what are the impacts of that?
Yeah, well, it's like you say, where I live, and also in the Central Valley to some degree, the water in the irrigation project for the Klamath Basin provides an important waterfowl function. I mean, it's part of the Pacific Flyway. Same with Northern California and the Central Valley. And when farms aren't getting water, the refuges are impacted because the birds aren't going to the refuges to get food. It's the adjacent farmlands that provides them food. And so I've talked to a lot of folks in the waterfowl community.
Mr. Kepin, could you wind it up, please?
Okay.
49 seconds.
One example. When irrigation's taken away, it also has environmental impacts, especially to waterfowl.
Okay, thank you for that, and I yield back.